Couple of days ago, I launched my study into desire and shame in women. And already this is proving to be such an interesting topic. And the preliminary results are starting to show me that this is a subject worth studying. So, my question is, what would women want if they weren't ashamed of wanting it? And immediately, so many women say to me, "But I'm not ashamed of wanting things, Chantal." So, what I want to do is I want to go into the definitions for desire and shame just as a baseline for this study. And then I want to ask you again, what would you want if you weren't ashamed of wanting it? So, the definition for shame, first of all, we're going to reference the world's foremost authority on shame, Brene Brown. And her definition for shame is that intensely painful feeling of feeling like you are flawed, like feeling like you're not good enough. That's shame. You see, we just don't call it shame, but that's what shame is. It's that feeling of shame. Desire, on the other hand, and there's a reason I use the word desire as opposed to want. Desire is a craving at a soul level. It is something that feels like every fiber of your being wants this thing. And whether it's desire for career, for life, for partners, for travel, it doesn't really matter. But desire is deeper than want. And I'm going to give you an example of how this plays out. I'm sitting around a table having a chat with friends, and the subject of Vietnam comes up. And I say, "Oh, I'd love to go to Vietnam. That sounds amazing. I've heard such great things about it." But here's the thing, it's a throwaway comment in conversation. Now, I would love to go to Vietnam, but it's not a desire. It is not something that my soul craves. It's not something I circle again and come back to in months and months again and again. You see, desire comes back all the time until you really start looking at it. Now, for me, I have a desire to settle in Mauritius. This is my 3 to 5 year plan. And even as I say that publicly, there's a gravitas to those words. There's a little voice in the back of my head that goes, "But what if you don't get it right? What if it fails?" You see, there's shame. Shame is the thing that whispers, "What if?" Right? So, inherently attached to desire, there is shame. We just call it something else. So, if this subject is fascinating to you, I would love to invite you to take part in my research. But more than that, what I'm going to be kicking off this month is what I call the DeShame Sessions. And the DeShame Sessions are a live conversation where we look at the research that says, what would women want if they weren't ashamed of wanting it? Join me on the 15th of April for the launch or the kickoff of the DeShame Sessions, and I would love to hear your perspective.